pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good evening, everybody. Looks like winter decided to make an appearance here. Thank you for coming out in the cold. All right, we do have a quorum, so we'll have somebody make a motion to accept the minutes. Second, moves to accept it. All right, introduction to council, Adam.
Hi, I'm Adam.
Danson Robinson, co-chair, Edgewood resident.
Paula Mullis on the chair. Okay, Jim Lyons, he'll be here, he's got a meeting with Ron and Ron's driving with him, so. Okay, so then we will, moving right along, Joppa, you're up.
Hello, everybody.
And there's extra agendas and minutes up here for everybody.
So the dates for this community crime report are November 1st to December 1st. Top 3 calls for service are pretty consistent, the same 3. Suspicious incidents 1, check on subjects at number 2, and then alarm calls number 3. Total calls for service comparing 2023 for the same time frame to 2024 are down 11%. Total crashes are 23 last year, 21 this year, so that's an 8% reduction. And then the Part 1 crimes, no homicides. Rape was a little bit of an increase. We had 1 rape last year and 3 this year during that time frame. These are mostly domestic related crimes. Robberies, there were 2 last year and 0 this year. Assaults, 10 compared to 8, 20% reduction. Burglaries, there were 2 during that month's time last year and 3 this year. Thefts are up 12%. Auto thefts are down 28%. And then overdoses, we had 5 last year compared to 1 this year. It's an 80% decrease. The bus stop violation.
I have a question. On the theft, so if the auto theft is down, the theft that's up, is that?
That includes shoplifting,
Okay.
which is most of these numbers are shoplifting thefts.
That's what I meant. Okay.
The overdose numbers, last year we had 5. This year we had 1 in this area. It's an 80% reduction. I said that already, I believe. I'm sorry. School bus violations. So November of 2023 we had 987. This year we had 520. The area where we have had a spike in the Joppa Edgewood community is Hanson Road at Magnolia Road. That intersection there, if you look at the map, that's like a hot spot for bus stop violations. And there's a bus that stops there for all 3 elementary, middle, and high school. That area has been sent out to the deputies in the traffic unit and the precinct for increased enforcement. The difference in the fine is almost doubled when we see it and write the ticket versus the camera catches.
So they were all camera violations, the 520?
The 520 are all camera
What are they,
violations.
250 each?
They are 250 each. It doubles when it's in person.
It's $130,000 in 1 month. That's
Yeah.
12 months, it's $1.5 million, but I know schools not even 12 months.
Is there?
We're seeing a huge reduction though. Last year the numbers were
that's
way
Is there
higher.
an increase if the same person, if you catch them on camera, if the same person does it the second time, is there a different charge, like?
No, it's a consistent flat fine amount.
They should, yeah.
So that's what I have for the community report. Do I have any questions? Yes.
The store manager at the dollar store said to thank you. I spoke with Jeremy. The other one were out. He's still concerned about the theft, and this is something we've really got to discuss. I know you have to get out of here. We just appreciate your time being here. Now there's a pack of girls from the ages of around 6 who said the oldest one can't be any more than 10. They're coming in now because when you would send the officers, he was like, the officers that come, he's like, that did start to turn the ones coming in after school doing stuff. He was like, now it's gotten to the point, it's not deterring them, and now they have younger groups. In particular, his concern about the group of the younger girls is there were some older women in the store that saw them and asked them to put the items back and everything. They got very, very combative. The one of them went in the grocery outlet. They had followed her outside. She came outside, her tires were stabbed. And the little girls were standing down the way on the sidewalk laughing. And it's a problem because we don't want to continue to lose businesses. We see more brick and mortar stores going away. You know, there's only but so much he can do, and he's trying. He said the last 2 episodes, one of your officers had actually come and banned some people, but then they came back and they cursed out. Did one of your officers tell you about getting cursed out and they tried to push the shopping cart at them?
I did not hear about this, no.
Yeah, so it's like, if they're not, can't we do some more plain clothes or get a neighborhood watch or something together to help? Because those houses down there where he's having the issue with the mud and stuff, that development isn't gonna fill up. People need their stores and they want to live near their amenities. It's not just a little concentrated problem. And now that it's getting to the point of safety, where the workers have to worry about when they come out the store late at night, and you're gonna go and check somebody's tires because they told you to put stuff back and they're not. No. We gotta find a solution for these store owners, Captain Dougal.
Yeah, absolutely. So we run plainclothes details, especially in the month of November and December, because this shoplifting goes it spikes pretty hard right now. And we base the deployment of those plainclothes deputies in stores and shopping centers where we had the highest amount of calls for shoplifting. So they're spread out throughout the county. Our crime analyst runs the numbers for us monthly and gives us that data so we could provide those deputies in the shopping centers where we're having the spike. But I will look at this shopping center as maybe deploying some of the resources down there if the data supports it, which I know it likely will.
Yeah, because he was like, they've kind of given up. They keep reporting everything to corporate and stuff, and he was like, I need help with getting to the safety of the workers.
Yes.
Like, they have, actual security guard, and grocery outlet will prosecute and everything, but them and the big lots are pretty much on their own and everything. So he's trying to figure out how can we, because he was like, if it worked enough when they were coming through to stop the high schoolers, maybe we need to change hours or something, because he's really upset that they had to cut back their hours. They don't close at 10 anymore, they close at 9.
Okay, yeah.
And everything is starting. The Walgreens closes at 9, everything and stuff. And he was like, you shouldn't have to drive to Abingdon. I want to keep this store open, but I need the help. So that's why I'm bringing it to your concern. I do appreciate the fact that your officers, every time I tell you something, you're on it. He said they did come through to let you know that, and he was appreciative, but he's getting concerned about these other little groups that are starting to form.
Okay, yep, we will.
Do you have a question? I have a statement. The brothel on Pulaski and San Pebble.
Yes. Well, we are aware of it, and we have an investigative group that does those kind of investigations as undercover, covert operations. I will pass it on. If we're just in discussion all the time between me and the captain who runs that division, he's aware.
Yeah.
O&P Court has picked up in Harford Square. It's starting to pick up again where so I had a break-in of my backyard 2 weeks ago where a bike was stolen. I got the bike back because I air tagged it. So the officer did bring the bike back like 3:30 in the morning. But I see more and more thefts going on in O&P Court now, heavy. 2 cars were broken in over the weekend.
Yes.
So if we could have officers, because I'm constantly dialing the station, asking for patrol at night, especially after 11 p.m. But my backyard was broken into at 9:30, and it was teenagers.
Yes. We have a group of teenagers. The kind of the ringleader of the group was just arrested. We got into a big chase with him a few weeks ago. He's placed on community detention now. We keep track of him and his friends. We know who they are, and they primarily target Harford Square. And they travel. They have some friends that live down Trimble Road, so sometimes they'll go down there as well. We're aware of the group of juveniles and keep an eye on them and proactive patrols, especially at nighttime. We're doing everything we can to try to mitigate that from occurring. The vehicle break-ins is where they're primarily focused. Occasionally backyards, bicycles and things, but mostly they're pulling on door handles, finding unlocked cars.
Yeah.
So, still for Harford Square, we're still continuously having break-ins to our clubhouse like we did on Thanksgiving evening. Not in the clubhouse itself, thank goodness we were able to secure the building, but in the back areas, we have 6-foot fences. We have some that obviously they keep cutting the fence to get into the pool that's non-existing. Is there something, and we're looking at our, we have a lot of security cameras, we're looking at putting more lights on the back. Is there some other recommendations that you all can help us with? And your officers called, they're out there today with us, looking at our camera footage and so forth. We're trying to figure out what else can we do. I mean, we have seriously talked about barbed wire, like seriously. Like, I don't know what is, but obviously someone will seriously get hurt and we don't, we're already dealing with a lot. But what are recommendations that we can do to try to secure not only our private properties, but we now have a commercial building that is open for public use and will have more activity, but we also want to make it safe.
Yeah.
And yes, we can call you guys after the fact, but while we're working with our hired security company, they're telling us that because of the laws of the county, we can only have a fence but so high. What else can we do? I seriously looked at electric fencing. Seriously, because it's a problem, because they're not only just getting in, now they're breaking our security cameras, as one was broken.
Yeah.
They are going in and further vandalizing what we already are trying to put money into invest.
Yeah.
And we're really in a pickle with trying to figure out, beyond calling you guys after the fact, can you all help us or have recommendations for us with how do we appropriately secure the building?
So our community policing unit, they're trained in specific doing security site surveys. I think I had your contact information.
I'm sure you did.
Yes, I will get them in touch with you, or
Okay.
and they can come out and schedule it, and they'll give you a full report, go over everything, walk around the building with you, and give you recommendations and pointers and tips and tricks and things to do. They're trained in it. They do it all the time.
Okay.
So I'll get them in contact with you.
Okay, because I know legally, electric fencing isn't, you can't accept that.
But I love that idea, though.
I really have, honestly, looked into, and we would say liability.
Yeah.
Keep the
But,
vote.
we will be at the, I think you guys are having the 10th, the community, what do they call that, on the 10th?
stakeholders.
The
Stakeholders meeting, yes.
We'll be there, but if we get something beforehand, we'll
Yeah.
gladly take that information.
Yeah, I'll get them. They'll be there as well, that unit.
Okay.
But I will get them in contact before that.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Okay. Carol, recently I've been on the roads, and this past week I encountered a couple of electric scooters and electric bikes and just bike riders. I have no problem with that, but you can't see them. These bikes and scooters don't have any reflection on the front or the back. I noticed today on the one, there were something on the wheel, so if you were coming this way, you could see it. But then the other day, at dusk, I was coming down 152, and there was someone on a scooter, and he had a but a gray outfit on, and he was on going with traffic, but I was up to him when I finally spotted him.
Yeah.
So is there anything that,
Call us if you see that. Call us, and we can respond. We could try to, and I know it would be tough, especially if he's moving as well, and you're not following him or her on the scooter. But yes, they should have reflected and lights on their vehicles or their scooters if they're on a roadway.
I was even thinking some kind of a program where they could have some kind of cool, not a worker's vest, but some kind of cool either hat or scarf that they could wear that would be reflective, that would encourage them to be safe. Because like I said, the past week I noticed 3, and I wasn't out on the roads at a busy time.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any programs, but if you see somebody doing that, we could educate them. Not that we're gonna, issue them a citation or something. We could educate them and maybe help figure out a way for them to get some kind of safety equipment so they can safely travel the roads. Just give us a call if you see it next time. Let us know. Or if you see it consistently one person or one road of travel, let me know that, and we could try to get out there and educate them.
But real quick, piggybacking off of what she said, that is an issue, and with all the controversy, it's not a problem here, thank goodness, but over the bike lanes, they did training with us way back in the 80s when I was in elementary school, and we were taught to ride against the traffic for the very reason she's saying. If I'm riding and I'm coming at you on my bicycle or whatever, you're going to see me. When did they change the law or change the perspective that it's better to have you riding with? Because like she said, next thing you know, you up on top of something and have less time to react. Whereas if I'm coming towards you, I have a frontal view of you here, right there. I'm not coming up on the side, or you're not mixed in with. When did they change all of that? And is this something that they cover, or will they look at? Because they had Miss Robinson, they had the summer camp where they did the bike rules and stuff. Because that is a concern. She is absolutely right. It is.
Yeah, they bikes and scooters and any motor, they should always travel with traffic the same way traffic's traveling. I don't know prior to if it was opposite. I'm unaware.
Yeah,
of
motorcycles have always traveled the same way, but like she was saying, like the little scooters and people out in the motorized scooters and bicycles. 84, when we were taught elementary school bike safety and everything, we were taught to ride against.
Okay.
Well, again, like I
But-
said, if you see something, say something.
Yeah, let me tell you something. We're trying to lay all of this on the police. A lot of this is about us. When I say us, I don't mean just us in this room.
Right.
It's about parents. When you talk about a 10-year-old child out there shoplifting at night, that's a parental issue. That's not a police issue. And I mean, while they are committing a crime, the issue is when we talk about prevention, we have to do something different. We just can't continue to lay we can't continue to have the police solve our social problems. And here's why I say that. There's a issue. There's a thing called over policing. If we continue to have these guys come out and try to address the problem that we should be solving, and I don't mean us, but I'm talking. You know what I mean?
Right.
That we should be solving.
Speak up.
And they look at stats, and they're gonna do everything. These guys have been doing everything that they could do, and more. So all I'm saying is this: yes, you do what you do, but we got to start doing some things ourselves. We cannot continue to ask other people to solve problems that we should be solving ourselves. Those are parental issues. Now, I talk about programs. I believe that we should be looking at how we hold parents accountable for a 10-year-old child out there anyway.
Well, I'm totally in agreement with you there. But and that's why I said now it is escalated because those older ladies went through something I went through. I saw the kids shooting off fireworks. I didn't tell them not to do it. It was the 4th of July. I simply just asked them, take it down to the sidewalk towards the street, get a bucket of water, not to be lighting them off firecrackers and stuff in between the parked cars. Oh, that little posse was circling my car. The parent, she had an issue, and she got all combative with me.
All right, we need to.
But what can he do about that?
And that
No, I'm not asking you for an answer. That's a rhetorical question. What can he do about people, when you talk about folks riding their motor scooters on the wrong side of the road, there are folk who just gonna do what they wanna do. We gotta do something different. We can't continue to have the police become have police address our social issues. And I'm not the chair, but I,
You remember that commercial, everybody, it's 11 o'clock, you know where your kids are.
They need that at 9
You're
o'clock.
absolutely right.
We need,
All
yeah,
right, we need to move on. Go ahead.
The only comment I had to that is, and I think everybody in the room agrees that the police can't solve it all, but I think the point of bringing it to awareness is because we're supposed to work collaboratively.
Right.
To try to figure out solutions. There are a lot of things, like the program you just talked about, where you all could come out and help us with a survey of our property to figure out what is the best way to do it. I wouldn't know anything about it. So we raise it here, so what can we do? Sometimes you all hear things across the county, and maybe you're hearing the programs across the county or state that we're not aware of. So no, we can't solve it all, but the point is, I thought here in this meeting, in the meeting of the minds of the people who are actually doing the work and having to deal with it every day, so that we can collectively talk about potential solutions, not to lay it all on you. What are you gonna do? Well, have you heard about other solutions that we can come up with? Or is this a known thing across the state or the county? And what can we do that's in conjunction with? So I think it's information sharing. I think it's also looking for solutions and then recommendations from the police as well as to what we can do as a community to make it better. We're not gonna solve it all here, but I think that's a wonderful idea about, is there neat little vest or whatever, and maybe that's a social issue we can all come up with and try to figure out something to do. But I think that's the purpose of it.
right.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
Before somebody ends up dead, that's dead.
I have one quick question to comment.
And then we need to move on. Go ahead.
All right, well, the comment is, I did see a scooter one night last week, had a light on the front. That was cool. That was right on 40 here. And the other one is, do e-bikes require a tag?
No.
No
They're
tag for an
bicycles.
e-bike?
No, they do not.
Okay.
They have to have lights at the road.
Yeah.
Just, I see you guys drive through our neighborhood, Rumsey Island.
Mhm.
Probably need to be in Harford Square more frequently, but you're down there enough. But when you come through, I'd like to see you actively enforce laws that are on the books, which I don't think you do.
Mhm.
Missing front license plates all over the place. All over the place. 50%, I'm not exaggerating. It's probably 10% of the cars in this county driving around with no front license plates.
Mhm.
Cars parked across the sidewalks, cars parked on the wrong side of the street, cars parked in the, and I'm not saying you have the time to do it all. I'm not asking you to do it all. But once in a while it would be nice, instead of just zipping through the neighborhood, of stopping and actually approaching someone and having a conversation, maybe just one or two.
Mhm.
Because then the word gets out, to Maya's point or other people's point. If you do it once, word gets out, word of mouth and through social media. Hey, you know what? I got a ticket for parking in front of my own driveway, and that happened to me actually. My wife got a ticket in 2014 for parking in front of my driveway. And I'm like, oh, it's my driveway. No,
No.
emergency vehicles, you can't do
You
it.
cannot block.
I've had a
the
ticket
driveway.
for all of it. My wife parking on the wrong side of the street, same thing. But nobody else gets down there. But, I mean, just once in a while.
Yeah.
I got a guy constantly, I walk every day in the neighborhood. We have older folks, people who are, using walkers and young kids riding bikes, and they have to go out into the street because there's a guy who parks two vehicles fully across the sidewalk,
Mhm.
and no one can get by. And I know you guys have been out and talked to him before because I saw it posted, but he just continues to do it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, you're doing a great job. I'm not complaining about any of it. Just once in a while, stop and have the conversation with folks. I'm not saying you gotta give them a ticket, but just like, hey, you shouldn't be parked on that side of the street.
Just skip our houses, so.
No, Paul's the guy, go Paul's first. If I'm doing something
Yeah,
wrong,
do not
I
tell
appreciate
them
the
what's going on,
conversation.
yeah.
Will
All
you
right,
be
thank
able to update us when you come next month? Cause at the same time that we're having this meeting, they're having a meeting tonight about the pedestrian problems on Route 40. I'm hoping some of our missing people.
Yeah, Ron and.
Are there-
and Jim are another representative.
Okay, yeah, cause I didn't know that it had become such a big problem with pedestrian incidents and stuff up and down 40, so.
All right, last comment, and then we are moving on. Last comment.
Yeah, down on the, where the marina is in Joppatowne, of course, it's been closed since, way back in May. There's still this, which we complained about a couple of months ago, there's two vehicles that are still sitting there in front of the marina on the right-hand side, outside the fence. The one has a Washington license plate, the other has a Virginia. They're still sitting there. same two cars.
We investigated that, and the vehicle owner, there was permission, I believe, from the property owner of the marina. It's like there's a gate there, and there's like a little gravel spot is where it's parked, I believe. Two vehicles.
There's no gate there, the gate's further up, but it's a gravel park.
Gravel spot, yeah. We investigated it, and because it was private property, and the person who owned the property was okay with the vehicles being there, we weren't able to remove the vehicles. Yeah.
So it's sitting there, how long?
It's been, I mean, I think when we went out there and investigated, it was a few months ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And they're still there,
Yeah.
haven't moved.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Oh, and happy holidays. Thank you for all that.
All right, so I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. This is Patrick Dickerson. He's the grant specialist for the Department of Housing and Community Services. And also, I understand now runs the CAD in Forest Hill. Sorry, so you said they combined because they weren't getting a good turnout.
Yep. Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna try. Where do I need to go, Adam? Is this good?
I mean, in front of the camera is helpful, but
wherever that is. Thank you. Thanks everybody for having me. Actually, I've been going around to all the different cabs over the last month and a half. So my primary role as grant specialist for the Department of Housing and Community Services, I manage our federal community development block grant and home investment partnership funds. For those who aren't aware, those particular pots of money are slated for community investment. It can go from anything from infrastructure to some public services, housing rehabilitation, some other development. It could even go into some business investment. There's a lot of different ways that can get used. And so for this time of year, we do something called a 5-year consolidated plan that is submitted to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So that's the primary funder coming from the federal government down to Harford County as an entitlement community. So as an entitlement community, we are given the ability to invest these funds where the community deems it's an important place to put. And so in the past, some of these programs, a nice portion of it goes to Habitat for Humanity for critical repair program that comes through. I was just looking at the information today. There's been about 8 to 10 houses in the last year and a half in this particular area that have received help from Habitat. Other programs include nonprofit investment in their buildings. So we've worked with Boys and Girls Club down the street, worked with the Epicenter and some investments as well in basically capital improvements. Some of the funds will also go to things like down payment assistance, straight from home, the home program. I think in the last year and a half we've helped, I know it's with 15 last year, and I think out of those 15 it was 8 or 9 first-time home buyers who purchased in Edgewood, Joppa, who got up to $20,000 in down payment assistance. There's a huge range that can go to community investment projects. So basically I'm here with, as well as going to the other cabs, to just get everybody's input, because this is the chance to say, hey, what's the best way for us to spend these funds? We hit every 5 years, we're able to give it what's called the consolidated plan to HUD, and part of that's to be able to ask the entire community, where's the best place to be able to invest this? I brought some show and tell to give everybody an idea. I might not be able to hold this up over the podium, Adam, but I'll try.
oh, I have it on.
You have
here.
the map.
Yeah.
Oh, see, he's awesome. So I keep this up in my office. The way that our community development block grant, or CDBG, the way that's allowed to be spent, it's allowed to be allocated in what are called low to moderate income areas, and those are designated by census tract block groups. It's a whole formula thing. Essentially, Harford County in the past, because of our population spread, anywhere that has more than 42.5% low to moderate income residents, according to census data, is eligible. That area income is based on Baltimore, Columbia, Towson numbers, so usually it's a little skewed, so it usually looks like we've got what's considered low to moderate income, which is up to 80%. All that being said, this map says if we want to choose ways to spend money by location, this is where this can be done. Now this is the old map. They just changed the data, and the reason I brought this was because it affects you guys pretty significantly. As we know, our inflation has adjusted our income rates quite a bit. So HUD's latest update to this, not only did it up our area median income, now a family of 4 area median income for this Baltimore metro area is about $130,000. It's crazy, which means that there are a lot of households who are now considered low to moderate income. So we also had our percentile change, which means now it's at 47% or higher. So this is the new map, which is a little smaller, but it's changed. And the reason I wanted to show everybody was because typically most of Edgewood is included, but now we have a big portion of Joppatowne that's also included in this. This is just in the last month and a half. So we're just starting to look at this, and I think the timing's pretty good because it does allow us some areas that we weren't able to work in before as far as that low to moderate area goes. This is particularly for us in our office in these programs. This is different from state programs. This is different from other areas of funding that people have looked at. This is specifically what we have for our community development block grant and home funds. So what used to be was pretty much just Edgewood, bordered in here on 755, and now we have 755 on the east side, pretty much going all the way over to this part of Trimble Road in Joppatowne. Not quite in Joppatowne proper, but up the hill. So there's a lot more than what there used to be. So if there's anything that comes up as far as like a public or a nonprofit project that's now eligible, particular housing assistance, a lot of that's income based on the household itself, but this does give us a little bit more flexibility. So I did want to let everybody know there's opportunities for that in the next 5 years based on what these numbers have come out to be.
Where is 40 on that map?
40 is right here. So this line at the top here is Philadelphia Road. This is 7. Right here in this area, this is Route 7 at the top. And then this right here is 95. And that goes up in Abingdon.
So
Delaware
7 kind of splits through there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so 7 splits at this point. So pretty much everything that we're looking at for this particular area, we're looking at, this is 95, and we've got 95 and below. 7 is kind of cuts this part right here. So.
And what's the amount of money that's allocated?
So typically it's a formula amount, so we usually get about anywhere between 1 million and 1.1 million a year, and that's spread across the whole county. The home investment partnerships is anywhere from like 375 to 475 a year. So all of those go to a number of projects. So yeah, we've been able to do it to kind of run a range because we're also working in a lot of different spots. But there is a portion that we put aside lately. I know Rob's been working as the Southern County Task Force. We've set aside. We've been looking at some of those infrastructure projects, and a good portion of that's gone into Southern County for the last 2 years or so. We've been earmarking that for some of the bigger projects coming up. So that's what's been going on, and what I wanted to share with everybody was, you've got an opportunity to kind of rank what you think is most important. I'm going to pass around this flyer with the QR code. If anybody wants to, pass that along, if you do that QR code, there's a 5-minute survey. It's pretty easy, and it just lays out what do you think is most important. Drag and drop, see what you want to rank on there, and there's a chance to comment if you'd like to do that. Easy to do on your phone. You can also do at home. If anybody wants any paper copies or something to fill out, I neglected to bring those tonight. I apologize, but you can contact our office and we can get those to you. So, yeah, Adam.
On the map, if something, does the project have to be in a shaded area?
It doesn't have, any project that these funds support doesn't have to be in a shaded area. There's 2 different ways to determine it. So you can either have a low to moderate income area or what's called low to moderate income clientele. So some projects, like our homeless shelters in the county, those are automatically set up as low to moderate income clientele because of the people that are served. So it depends on, it all has to be documented. So the reason we share the area income is that that's a lot easier to prove, and it involves a lot less documentation to go with it. So if we say this is for the benefit of the public in these 3 census tracts, and we can tell HUD this is where the people are coming from, then HUD says, great, those are low to moderate area census tracts. If we were doing a project up in Bel Air South, that was like, I don't know, some kind of public service to go out to folks or running some housing rehabilitation program, that would have to be based on the people who are being served and to show that they fit that low to moderate income definition.
So, if I may just pick your brain,
Sure.
purely hypothetically speaking, if there were a church across the street from one of those brown areas, but not actually covered by the brown area, that had a parking lot that needed great repair, would that church be able to call you tomorrow morning and be like, hey, you know, let's see
Well,
what we can-"
I would say that if there was a church that we had previously discussed at some point,
that,
yes,
by the
that
way,
has
works
changed.
with the Harford County Hope for Homeless Alliance and such, you know.
Yes,
But-
that has changed.
glad that was hypothetical.
Yeah, very hypothetical.
Purely
But I
hypothetical.
appreciate you bringing that hypothetical situation up for everybody. So, absolutely. So, yeah, go ahead.
So I noticed when you were talking about like the different, like grants that you mentioned, like grants for first-time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
But what about, you know, people that actually like live in, that are low income, but may actually lose their house based on like not paying their HOA fees?
Gotcha.
Like, it's like no programs out there for like, I mean, now that I'm on the board, I'm seeing like a large amount of people that could potentially lose their home because of HOA fees, homes that are paid for.
Right.
So you mentioned like first-time home buyers program, and that's great. But what about people that have actually paid for their homes but may lose them because they owe fees?
Yeah. Traditionally, a lot of grant programs haven't necessarily gone to mortgage assistance or helping with that, but that is starting to change in Maryland and across the country. I know that's something that the state of Maryland has talked about and improving some of their own programs. And I will say, if that's something that you think is important, there's actually an option for that in the survey too. So if you think that's something that we should focus on, and if there's a piece of it that we could address in the next 5 years, please put that down there, because that is something that we're looking at.
You work for housing, do you know of any programs currently going on that could potentially like help people like now?
Not right now. There is something that the state is potentially working on. I don't know when that's coming around yet, but a lot of those have just started looking at it right after COVID on being able to assist. Traditionally, there really hasn't been anything specifically for existing homeowners who are looking to catch up on a mortgage or something. Usually I will say this though, if there is somebody who's struggling with that, who's looking for any assistance with mortgages or fees, you can call our office, because we do have 2 housing counselors who do work with not only the down payment assistance program, but just general Harford County residents. So if you give us a call, it's 638-3045. I know it's kind of tough to get through, because the first thing they're going to tell you is work it out with your mortgage company.
You have to be in foreclosure. Or
It
Well,
does.
I've actually called, and on behalf of like 2 residents that live in our community, I've actually talked to Steven
Yeah.
from your housing in Harford County.
Yeah.
Basically just told me the same thing, that it's nothing.
Typically, it's just like we said. It's kind of wait until foreclosure to fit in there. But there are a couple pointers and kind of ways to talk to your mortgage company about it. But if something else is coming up, or if the state's kind of developing something further, or even if we come out of the survey and see if there's something that we can do as a county with some of these things, then that'll get out there to you guys. But there's nothing currently that I know of that's specifically for that.
Go ahead.
So, a community we're Harvard Square, so we are, just putting it out there, we are trying to figure out how in the world we open this pool, and we can't afford it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty much that we can't afford to do it, and we can't afford to maintain it.
Right.
Are there opportunities with this grant funding, for this type of grant funding, where we could work something out, to get funding to help us to do that, to open it up and bring a community pool, make a community pool available to the surrounding areas? We have a big problem with, folks not being able to, they're idle. So idle minds do a lot of vandalism. And so we're trying to aggressively figure out how do we get our kids active in things that are not destructive. And this used to be a vibrant pool that, you know, many of the surrounding communities and folks used to use. So is this something that we could try this avenue to see if that's something that we could get grant funding for?
I'd say that particularly with the pool, the differences between whether it's going for the public at large or if it's going specifically for the community. And typically anything that's coming from the federal funds that we're dealing with has to be for the public at large. So if it's any kind of public service or something to go into it. Any potential other funds that's in community reinvestment that's not this, perhaps. But that's why we're looking at some of the other things
We're
in
looking
Harford
at all
Square too.
avenues,
So yeah.
whether we open it up to the public, primarily for funding, really for funding issues, or if we keep it private. And we're just trying to see what avenues we have, because it is costly, and even keeping it private may not be suitable for the
And that's where keeping it private wouldn't be eligible for that, but if there is something that comes to make it more public, could be.
Yeah,
So.
and that's the direction we're looking. Okay.
Yep.
Jansen, you were next.
Well, I think she had a hand up before.
I wanted to know, when they're gonna start a new class for new home buyers for the.
You know, I'm
help
not
them
sure
with
when
it?
they're doing that, cause usually it's gonna be, it's
think
usually
it's
third
December
Wednesdays
10th.
they'll start, but I'm trying to remember.
If you go to the website, it could be posted, the
Yeah,
date, the time, and location.
But you think it's December the
Yeah,
10th?
I think it is, I just happened
I
to see
think
something
that's
this
right, but I
morning when I
was-
was looking up some things. But go to
Yeah.
the website, the one I always talk about, the www.h, there, it will come up on there if you put, first time home buyer workshop,
yeah,
Oh, okay.
okay?
yeah, I think that's it, but I don't wanna give you the wrong date, but yeah, it's usually on Wednesday,
Go
so.
ahead, Jansen.
So what about, you heard the conversation that we had with the
I'm talking about for parents.
well, no.
You got my brain going on that one, yeah.
No, but, crime prevention, measures.
Yeah.
I mean, can some of those dollars be used to, for instance, funding for training? There's a program called Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design that could help the residents understand how to, especially in HOAs, understand how to design certain their community to in an effort to prevent crime, or maybe cameras or things of that nature. Are there opportunities to use those funds for something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically for cameras is something that we've done before and are doing right now. As far as services go, for any kind of training, there is a portion of CDBG that's for public service, but that's, it has a cap of up to 15%, which doesn't come out to too much in our yearly amount. Most of that goes to our homeless services to help cover that gap. But if that is something that you're interested in for some of that training, that could be a route. Normally, I would say any kind of services or nonprofit community funding to start with our county grant and aid program. And that's currently running. It's about to, I think that's closing next Monday. So that's usually a good start.
Okay.
What's closing Monday?
There's a grant and aid for it's nonprofit operating stuff. Yeah. I know. Sorry, Carmen. Yep.
Oh, indeed, sorry.
Yeah.
Did you say we could there's room to like write ideas?
Yep.
So
100%.
maybe if somebody had an idea to expand the current homeless shelter?
Yep.
'Cause we have a pit count of, I don't know, I think it was 148, they have 176 unhoused people in the county, and a shelter with 32 beds, 6 for women, 26 for men. It's not sufficient to fill the need. And there are definitely some ways that some nonprofits that work on these things have been, and you know, because you come to the Alliance meetings with us, and you know, I work with Revive Us, there's a lot of groups that have a lot of ideas that would be maybe more cost efficient
Yeah.
to take care of that need while also rehabilitating some people and giving them some worth while giving them a place to stay.
Yeah.
So I could write that. in
Absolutely.
here.
That's what it's for. So, and there's that's an option there too. If you have a particular program or nonprofit that you think should be considered or looking, that's a piece in there. I will say for shelter expansion, we're working on that. So,
I know you are. I appreciate all you do. I know you guys work really hard.
yeah. Yep,
I
sure,
have
Mike.
a question on addition to what she was saying. With this funding, what I'm discovering and keep coming across, and I don't understand how it's slipping through the government's cracks up here in Harford County, but you're giving this funding to groups and nonprofits and stuff, and they're not adhering to the law. An example of what she's talking about with the shelter population, not just the mixed thing and part discrimination there, because you only have 6 spaces for women. I'm currently homeless, living in my car. The shelter wouldn't take me because of my service dog. But if you go to ada.gov, which the Department of Justice runs, if it is a service dog, it is supposed to be able to go into emergency shelter. So instead of them following the law, you'd rather leave me outside sleeping in my car where I can't have any access to CPAP machine, things that are going to keep me alive. It's 32 years post the Americans with Disabilities Act. This is not the problem of any disabled individual, myself or anybody else, to be figuring out. That should have been figured out by Harford County, the housing and everything. That's not on the disabled community. We should not be rolling up 32 years after the ADA when it says that for every 25 parking spaces, there are supposed to be at least 2 handicap spaces. We should not be going in through this. There should not still be apartment complexes getting built in the county that are not elevator accessible, or there are steps to go down to get into the first floor housing. That's not right to have a population out here homeless because you're letting the people that you're giving money to slide and not follow the ADA and other laws to fully pass. That is just wrong. We ain't talking about this law came out yesterday. We're talking about George Papa Bush, 32 years, it was signed in 1991.
This is not his fault, though.
But since he's there, he wants to know about funding. I'm laying it out there. I'm laying it out there, not just for myself, but for the entire disabled community.
No, I know.
My 3rd grade teacher was wheelchair bound. I've always been sensitive, and it hurts to see her from elementary school to now. There's still certain buildings she can't go into as a human being. It's a problem out here in society, and it's not right.
I know.
Yeah, and that's where we're going to keep. I appreciate you telling me that, because that is something for Harford Family House and Community Action Agency, and I'll call them tomorrow. Okay? Seriously. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
I have to put. Do you guys mind if I put on another hat just because somebody else in my
No, go ahead.
somebody else in my office asked? On top of that, if anybody hasn't heard already, there is another set of funds that is working through right now. It's called the Community Reinvestment and Repair Fund, which is essentially coming from the cannabis tax. So there's actually going to be a meeting at the Edgewood Library on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So that meeting is on Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and we're just sharing with everybody. If you'd like to go, share with somebody. It's another opportunity for this particular set of funds to share your comments and look at what that could be. There's some overlap from what the federal funds I'm talking about. There's also a little bit more liberty in some ways, and right now the county's just crafting what those priorities are for that, because there is a different set of eligibility requirements that come with that tax. So I'll pass this around too if everybody wants to get that. And just getting the word out there for our Office of Drug Control Policy that they're going to do that at 6 o'clock on Wednesday at the Edgewood Library. So, and if you have any other comments, just feel free to.
Can you just reiterate the grant survey flyer?
So the grant survey flyer, it's got a QR code. You can fill that out on your phone or online. You can also go to Harford County Housing. If you look that up on Google, there's a link to that survey that you can fill out. And if you need a paper copy, feel free to reach out. I'm 638-3045.
When does the survey close?
We're going to finish this up. I think it's going to be second week of February. So we have time.
Okay.
Yep. We're getting ahead of it. All right, thank
Patrick,
you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Pat.
Samantha, I see you in the back there, you're up.
Sorry, I was really late.
That's okay, that's why you can.
I had on another hat, so. Okay, so I know you guys have had Cynthia here before. So I'm Samantha Harris. I work for County Council President Pat Vincenti, so I'll be coming now. We just did some swaps. Obviously, we have several cabs across the county, so between me and the two other ladies that work in our office, Sue and Cynthia, we try to get them all taken care of. So I'll be here for the time being. I did bring copies of the County Council highlight. I did send these to Gloria ahead of the meeting, so I wasn't sure if she got to print them out. I think I printed like 15 or 20 copies. I left them in the back.
Okay.
Has Cynthia kind of explained what they are for everybody here? It's basically like a more detailed version of our minutes. So this will kind of tell you like votes. If you want to know who voted for what, a lot of the votes are in the red, so it's really helpful to print them out in color. Double-sided, so this one goes over all of our meetings in November. Again, you can see the different public hearings and the bills that were introduced. Question and comment is in there as well. And then I just wanted to touch on, let me pull it up real quick. Our next council meeting is tomorrow evening. No public hearing, so we will start at 7:30. We're considering 2 appointments, one for council vice president. So that's something that we do every year. One person on the council gets elected as council president. And then police accountability board chair, and that is in the works as well. I don't have the name just yet. And then, let's see, we're introducing 2 resolutions. So one will be the MS4 Financial Assurance Plan, and then the second one will be an Economic Development Opportunity Loan Fund to MJT Holdings LLC. Both of those will be available on the website after introduction, and they will also have public hearings, which I believe are on the 7th of January, scheduled for 7 o'clock. Additional amendments tomorrow night will be introduced for the impact fees. Those are not made public yet. They'll be on the website tomorrow. But due to the time constraint on the bill itself, they will have to be voted on tomorrow night along with the bill as amended is scheduled to be voted on. But essentially all those amendments are doing is requiring the county executive to come back to the council in, I think it's 2027. So almost 2 years with an updated report as to how much of the impact fees we collected, how much, how many townhomes are built under that new fee schedule, how many single family homes and things like that. So they're not changing the substance of the bill. They're simply just providing the council with kind of an update. That way, if we see a trend going one way or the other, they'll have the ability to update. And I believe the county executive, as well as some of our state legislators, will be working to increase the cap that's currently put on Harford County as far as the amount of impact fees that we can charge per resident or per housing unit, which is $10,000. So I think they're looking to raise that down in Annapolis. Again, that has to be changed at the state level. But maybe by then we'll also be able to raise it. So rather than wait another 20 years to update them, Council President Vincenti and a couple others thought it'd be a good idea to check them every couple years. And then the last thing, they will be voting on the impact fee legislation, a sign bill, and then the cable franchise renewal agreement for Verizon tomorrow night. And then we also have the reconsideration of the hotel occupancy tax bill that was sent over to the county executive, so he vetoed that bill. The council will be reconsidering that tomorrow night to see if they have enough votes to override it. And then we are withdrawing the solid waste management plan simply because there was an error in the bill. So the county executive side of the house, they're gonna withdraw it and then they're gonna bring it back to us probably, hopefully, maybe next meeting. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we should get that back soon. So I know that was a lot. Sure.
So the one bill that you mentioned, that's related to paying Visit Harford, all that money all the time.
It's the hotel occupancy tax, yes. So it designates Visit Harford, the money would go to Visit Harford very specifically.
So Castley did overturn it, so that.
So he vetoed it, but the council has veto override power, so if they have a supermajority to overturn his veto, they do have that legislative power. So it's kind of the checks and balances, similar to how if the governor vetoed a bill or something like that, then there is another check on that. So they would have to have enough votes. They'd have to have a supermajority. So it would have to be at least five votes to overturn it. So that'll be up for vote tomorrow night.
Adam?
Sure.
Not to put you in a tough spot, but is the council doing anything while we're in legal limbo of not having representation from all of District A?
So your representation now, I know she's away on a cruise now, but Debbie Button will still be your point of contact for District A, and then any legislative matters or anything that needs pertinent assistance, please feel free to email me and Council President, and we'll take care of it to the best of our ability.
Okay.
So I don't want you to think that you don't have somebody to talk to. I think most of you in this room kind of know and have my email address or know how to get a hold of me. And in Debbie's absence, I am kind of monitoring things. She's on a very well-deserved vacation, so somewhere in the Caribbean, I hope, somewhere nice and warm. But
I was gonna say it's probably someplace warm. Yeah.
yep, but any legislative matters, feel free to reach out. I checked both Pat and I's email. A lot of people probably also have his cell phone number, so if you need to get a call with them reading, just let me know. We can work something out.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you, Samantha.
Sure.
Lenore, you are up.
Good evening, everyone. And I certainly hope you had a great Thanksgiving and you ate plenty for everyone, because there were a few people that didn't have a great Thanksgiving. So we need to be very thankful about that. I'm bringing you information from the county executive's office, but before I get into that, I have a few handouts, and I see our wonderful timekeeper has returned. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
The Sensory Santa Workshop, I attended last December. It's great. Those of us that have young people, little people, bring them. It's all free. They get a chance to see Santa. Those of us that still believe in Santa. That's Saturday, December the 7th. It will be held at the Churchville Recreation Center from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And on December the 14th, it will be held at the Edgewood Senior Center. So we're going to pass a few flyers around with that information. But it's very, very good. You'll have a great time bringing your neighbor's kids, your grandkids, just someone else's kids there, but it's really nice. From the county executive, as the holidays approach, the county executive wants you to please remember to support our small businesses and shop locally. Downtown Bel Air is full of wonderful stores, and we need to support those businesses. He also wants to thank you for the opportunity to serve you and the county that he truly loves. He hopes you will enjoy getting together with your family and friends during this entire holiday season and celebrate the blessings of the past. We're heading into a new year, 2025. Last year wasn't that bad because we're here to say we're getting ready to go into January. So we're thankful of that. Volunteers, donations are needed for the Reefs Across America, which is December the 14th. Reefs Across America is on the 14th, and it's an opportunity to lay a wreath at a veteran's gravesite. This is in honor of their services, and it to teach the next generation. Once before you heard me say that the county executive is all about veterans, so keep that in mind. We welcome also an event that is planned at 2 p.m. in Havre de Grace at Mount Aaron and Angel Hill Cemetery. Volunteers are needed at that site as well. I refer, once again, as always, go to our website. You can get all the information you need, jot it down or print it out. There's Toys for Tots, the collection drive. Our administration is proud, once again, to help the Marine Corps with this year's Toys for Tots collection by providing county facilities to warehouses and distributing donations by appointment. We have tons of toys from our kids and our grandkids. Why not utilize them and send them to Toys for Tots as a donation? You can go by our administration office at 220 South Main Street in Bel Air. Thank you very much for your generosity of last year. Toys were donated to make the holidays a little brighter for someone else. Toys for Tots, Harford County's website, www.harfordcounty.gov. Harford Christmas Tree Farm Finder. Are you looking for a live Christmas tree this year? I would say yes, because the ones that are artificial are probably going to be very expensive. Harford County is a home to beautiful Christmas trees and their farms where you can select your freshly cut tree or cut down one of your own. To help you find a tree and support these small businesses, the county government website has an interactive map of tree farm locations and business hours. Once again, I refer to go to that site. Christmas tree safety. We have the wonderful Ron here that's going to talk about safety measures, and I'm sure he's going to talk about the Christmas tree safety. Live Christmas trees are a great holiday tradition, but Christmas tree fires can be serious and even deadly. Our Harford County Department of Emergency Services urges all citizens to take precautions with a live tree. Holiday events taking place here in Harford County. To help you get into the holiday spirit, and we're not talking about this, the holiday spirit, we're gathered a list of local events and activities for all ages to enjoy. Go to the website, they'll be posted. There's something going on December the 5th, Having a Grace Jubilee preview parade. That's Harford County Chambers Jingle Mingle. December 6th, Aberdeen Festival of Trees in Havre de Grace, the parade, and tree lighting. December 6th to the 22nd, you have Harford Holidays. It's going to be held at Ripken Stadium. December 7th, Aberdeen Christmas Tree Celebration. The Leardendrum Mansion will have an open house. December 7th and 14th, Bel Air Winter Wonderland. Havre de Grace, Holly Jolly Interactive Village. December 7th and the 14th in Havre de Grace will have a merry marketplace. December the 8th, Bel Air Christmas Parade. I was in Bel Air Christmas Parade one time. It was cold as you know what. But anyway, December 12th to the 13th, there's going to be another event held at Van Divers Inn. December 13th and 14th, you can deck the stalls, decorating contest, Festival of Trees and Shopping. December 31st, Havre de Grace New Year's Eve duck drop and fireworks. Van Divers Inn, they have the Rolling 20s New Year's Eve dinner and bash. Come to Havre de Grace. It's all a part of Harford County and under our county executive. There's a flyer going around for Harford women, leading women, and I know there's a lot here today. Please submit someone's name for leading women in this particular county. Enjoy the remainder of this evening, and I look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you, Lynn.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
And you know what? Just this year, as it turns out, and because Ron and I are the only two minorities in here, we light our first Hanukkah candle December 25th.
Congratulations for that. Yes.
Comes out at the same time this year.
Oh, very
Doesn't do
good.
it very often, but yeah.
Yes. The young lady that asked about the first-time home buyer workshop, if you're not, yes, I remember your face. Call the county, call housing number at 410-638.
Wait a minute, 410-638?
3045. Get that right, Pat? Ask for Steve or either Keith. I'm legally retired, so I'm straining my memory for different things. I've been retired since
No, you're not.
1928.
No, you're not retired. From here. Not from here. Come on now.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You gotta be careful with Hanukkah candles too.
What's that?
I gotta be careful with Hanukkah candles too.
I'll stand up here. Thank you all. Sorry I was late. Another meeting that conflicted with this meeting tonight. This time of year it's kind of rough. Another hat that I wear. Anyway, last month I think we talked quite a bit about turkey fryers and stuff like that. Somebody paid attention. Fortunately, there were none in Harford County. Unfortunately, in Maryland there were 3 instances where people were seriously burned and one house caught fire and burned down because of it. So I'm glad you all listened. I hope this gets out there, but you know, be very careful. You still have the holidays coming up with a lot of things going on. Hopefully,
Can I throw something in there real quick? It's something I read right before I came tonight. There was a house in Connecticut, a $4 million house. Burned down? The entire house, it was 9 bedrooms, whatever, $4 million, burned to the ground. They were frying a turkey in the garage.
I saw that.
Yeah, inside in the garage. A $4 million house burned. There was actually 40 people inside. They all got out. Nobody was hurt, but it burned to the ground. Wow. I just read that before I came.
Yeah, I saw that.
Turkey was delicious though.
Yeah, so I'm hoping everybody had a good Thanksgiving, things like that. Last month I brought out some paperwork on the preparing for winter. Well, prepare. Look, if you brought that, I didn't bring it with me this week, but if you do have it, make sure you do the checklist. Prepare for winter checklist by turning off your outside bibs. Could save you a lot of money in the long run, as far as your plumbing and stuff like that. I can tell you this: over the next 10 days, from what I can see, it's going to get very cold. You might even have a little bit of that white stuff starting at the end of the weekend next week. The flyer I did bring tonight, though, is about electric portable heater safety. Glad you all paid attention about the turkeys. However, some people didn't pay attention about portable electric heaters. We've had 3 fires in Harford County. 2 are a result of improperly discarded ashes. Okay, I can't tell you, I talk about this enough, whether it be a cigarette, fireplace, charcoal, whatever. Okay, people are not being careful when you discard them. The 3rd one was a space heater that was left on overnight, caught the bed on fire. Fortunately, all 4 people escaped. I think 1 cat perished, but I'm not positive. Okay, be very careful. These portable heaters are great, but make sure they're UL listed. Okay, it'll be written right on the unit itself. Do not plug them into an extension cord. And as luck would have it, last night at 2:15 in the morning, I had a bunch of red and white lights outside my window. My dog woke me up. It's kind of a funny story because I kept telling the dog to shut up. It's 2:15 in the morning. He's barking. He didn't bark at that time. Well, when I finally woke up and realized what was going on, my neighbor's house was on fire on the court. The electric panel to the heat pump unit was on fire in the basement. They caught it before any real damage. They were able to shut it off and take care of it. But yeah, I wake up and I thought, this is a hell of a time for Santa to come around 2:15 in the morning.
I hope you apologize to Frankie.
What's that?
I hope you apologize to Frankie.
Oh, yeah. I did after I went back to sleep, we settled down. After I went out and checked out on things, I mean, my whole court was just blocked up with engines and trucks and all these flashing lights, but it happens, okay? And a good thing my neighbors were, were able to see it. Their alarms did not go off. We've had 2, well, I just lost them. I had a couple fires that I did want to talk about, though, of note. There was a fatal fire in Elkton in a portable home. Unfortunately, there was a death in there. The woman got out, the husband did not. They're thinking it was an electrical short that caused the fire. The mobile home was completely destroyed. But 2 families are safe in the upstate in Maryland, up in the western counties. I think it's Kitzmiller out in that area. Two families were safe because their smoke alarms went off in the middle of the night and were able to say woke them up. 2 separate fires, but let me tell you, the alarms were put in by this initiative, Sound the Alarm Initiative. I'm sorry, yeah, by the Sound the Alarm Initiative that we have going on, which brings me to this Saturday. And this Saturday, December 7th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we're going to be up here in Edgewood Village, hitting Grempley Way West, I believe it is, with the Red Cross and fire equipment to put in free smoke alarms. These are for your safety. I was called to a house a couple days ago on Grempley Way, won't give the address. People had rented the house, not one working smoke alarm. People, this is against the law. Bottom line, you can't rent the house, sell a house, apartment, whatever, as is if there's no working smoke alarms. I don't care how old the place is. It was made in the 50s, built in the 70s. You can't do that. But the landlord refused to do anything, so I went in, of course, we installed 4 smoke alarms, one on each floor for them. And those buildings should have hardwired alarms. I don't know who the owner was before, but as I'm walking through the house, there was one hardwired alarm, which of course was taken down. Couldn't find any wires for other ones. I have a feeling they were covered up in the ceiling and stuff. This is illegal. If you see this or know of anybody that has something like this, please let me know. We will contact the fire marshal and let them handle it. I don't have jurisdiction, but the fire marshal sure does. Okay, this is totally illegal and I hate to see it because your lives are in danger. But anyway, the Saturday morning we'll be out there. Hope to see some of you over at Edgewood Village. We'll be hitting Grimpin Way West because that's the kind of part we missed last time. We'll get as many installed as we can within those few hours. And just, okay, where was the other one? I'm sorry, I got to refer to my phone because I didn't get a chance to write some of this down. That was the Elkton Fire, Caroline County, Waldorf, Harford County, early part of November last year. We have one here on Woodholm Drive, where they're investigating where the car went into the house. I believe, I don't know if the sheriff's department talked about it or not during his speech tonight. A driver was kind of under the weather, so to say, like that, since there's still a pending case. Made a wrong right turn, hit a house, actually hit the gas meter, which caused a fire and explosion and completely destroyed the house over there. It's sort of off Patterson Mill Road. He was caught later on, and he was arrested by police without incident. Things like this happen, and there's no way to prevent it, but there is a way for you to prevent it by not driving impaired. Okay, and I know I'm a little stepping my safety bounds here, but I see too many of us this time of year with accidents and things like this where the guy just was out of it. Okay, thank God. No, the only thing, both dogs did perish by the way. One dog perished in the fire, one was taken to the vet where he perished at the vet. So both dogs perished, and of course I'm very upset that the animals perished. The animals are like family. I'm sure you all know that. You have them, I have them too, and I know you all do it. Really, it's sad to see something like this happen. All I can say is make sure you have working smoke alarms. Make sure you change your batteries when we change our clocks. I told you last month, if you didn't do it, shame on you, because at some point those alarms are going to go off and they're going to start chirping at 2, 3 in the morning. They're not going to chirp at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when you're wide awake. They're going to chirp at 2:30 in the morning because they're going to want to wake you up. So change your alarms. Change those batteries for the ones that do have them. If you have a 10-year battery, you shouldn't worry about it. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question, and I know you share this wonderful information with us monthly, and I think it's great, and we try to take it back to our communities, but do you have any already scheduled, like, sessions or, I may have asked this before and I apologize, but is there something like people could come out to be informed about fire prevention and fire safety? Because we hear it, we know it, we're aware, and we try to tell people, or if we could arrange like a session with you, and maybe one of our community meetings to say, okay, we're having a fire prevention session, and come get your, sign up, get your house.
Jim and I have been doing this for
checked.
several years. You just contact me, and hopefully we'll get it. We've got several of them. Myself and Frida Martin from Abingdon will probably also come. We come and do the talk and talk about fire prevention and safety, especially in buildings with multiple families, whether it be assisted living. We just did one in Bel Air about 6 months ago, and because sometimes these buildings change hands so often,
And more
there's no escape plan.
We have some communities that have Spanish-speaking homes, and so do you have someone who's bilingual who can also communicate with them? Because a lot of, and it's not just their homes, but at least in our community, we have multi-family communities, multiple generations, multiple folks who are at different levels of accessibility. Some people are walking with walkers, canes, some people are bedridden in our own properties, and we want to make sure that they're aware of, do they have a plan? Like, do you have something where you come to their properties if they wanted to do a check for free on,
Unfortunately, I know that problem exists, and I say that because I don't have anybody that's with my team that can speak Spanish and talk about it in Spanish. It's a tough situation. I can order some Spanish Brochures like I'll bring here, they are available in Spanish, English. Well, I mean, I can bring them out, but as far as talking to you, unfortunately, I don't have anybody that can speak Spanish. I can't.
It's
I
okay.
can talk to them in English, I can slow down. I speak fast, as you know.
No, it's okay. Most of their homes at least have a child or someone who translates, and at least in our experience, who translates for the parents in the home, and we could like make arrangements through the time when a kid could be there to help translate. But it's something that we're looking for in our community to figure out how do we get the education outside of this room and actually to our folks beyond the flyers that we post on Facebook. Like, this is a conversation people need to have outside of this room, like to our folks.
Oh, you're right, you're exactly
So
right.
we'll be in touch with you.
But yeah, if you contact me, through my email and my card here, we'll make arrangements, you know, we'll set up a time. We love coming to communities, you know, coming out and doing those talks. I do a lot for the elderly, a lot for assisted living places. I've done mostly Bel Air, because people down here have not asked me yet. And I can't just go up and walk in. Again, as a volunteer, I can do it if I'm asked, but I'm not allowed to go and solicit services.
Yeah.
It's sort of a tough line. And
Okay.
it's a county, but I tell you this, I do report to the Southern Harford County Task Force. Each month I've got to report to Carol Boniface on what we've done and what's going on. So that is something that I can put in a report and publish.
Ron, I was just gonna suggest that when you have your, dates that you're going into communities, especially one like Harford Square where you know there's a very diverse group, Lassos in Bel Air, Melinda's crew, they have arranged a big group of volunteers that will be live interpreters at events. So if you can get her those dates, then she can coordinate, because they do great outreach. Lassos.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and the Red Cross, you know, this time, again, I'm dealing with, again, like other organizations, Red Cross has just changed over representatives again for our area. So I'm dealing with a whole new group again. They are gonna be out this week, putting up hang tags in those streets we talked about. Wait a minute.
Did you hear? Go on.
They're coming out to do hang tags, letting them know we're gonna be in the area. It is also posted on Harford TV, on the announcement website, that we're gonna be out there. We put it out on Facebook and on media as much as we can, both privately and through the county website, my county website, with the fire prevention website, it's on there. And we try to get it out as much as we can. And I think as I work with this new group, the Red Cross, hopefully get things out more in advance. And that's the big thing, the advance notice, so you know we're coming, and we're gonna be there. The Red Cross, the fire marshal is also involved in helping us with this sound the alarm event. So I'm hoping that get plenty of alarms installed, we've got plenty coming. And I'm sorry Aaron wasn't here, he was supposed to be here, because he has some information for me that I needed. I questioned him about a house that I installed some alarms in yesterday. We had some issues, and we're not sure exactly whose district it is, because unfortunately the district maps that I look at, it could be anywhere, it could be A, B, or C. So Aaron was checking in on that for me to see whose housing, so we have an issue that I need to get to, but Aaron's gonna look into it for me. Other than that, anybody else have any questions? Please contact me on my email. We're more than happy to come out to your community.
You show up late, and then you wait. Yes, it is.
You wanna piggyback on
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Go ahead.
Just to follow up, in a 12-month period, the ambulances at Joppa Magnolia ran right around 6,800 runs last year. That was October 1st to September 30th, just to give you an idea. And when I add that, don't think you're gonna call 911, you got the sniffles, and I'm gonna get an ambulance so I can be seen faster. Because all the hospitals, well, the Upper Chesapeake, the main one here, prioritize. If you're priority 3, no life-threatening injuries, you're gonna wait till they have room. So as you found out, 8 or 9 hours, you're better off going to Doc in a Box or something like that, you know, or your personal physician. The other thing I want to add is the electric battery cell phone stuff. just like the electric cars, but the mini bikes, the scooters, whatever. And I know there's gonna be some of your grandkids or parents are gonna get them for Christmas. Please don't leave them plugged in overnight. When you go to bed, unplug it. You don't know how long it's gonna take to fry it. And it may be close to full and it'll keep charging and it'll heat. Philadelphia and New York City are being plagued with fires, with bikes and stuff up on the 12th, 13th, and 25th floor that turns into a major call. The other thing I want to pass along to you all, Joppa just put in service, it's been in service about a month now. It's called a Quint. It's a glorified ladder truck with full engine capacity, hose, and all the stuff that fire and a normal pumper has it, plus then it's got the aerial devices, and we're running that out of the Joppatowne station. So, you know, with the mix of volunteer service, we could pretty well sure to get something out with a high ladder on it. The other thing I want to comment on, that maybe you've seen the argument with the power lines up along the Baltimore County line, Pennsylvania line, Frederick and all. BG&E has closed down a coal-fired generating plant, and now they're going outside the state of Maryland to buy power. Your prices are going to go up to some, even though they don't want to admit to that, but that's what's going on. And they're buying power out of state, and they're also then transforming it right through Maryland into Virginia. So, look, when you hear that, it's going to affect your electric bill somewhere in the next 12 to 24 months, just to give you a ballpark. You probably weren't even thinking about it living down here, that's going to have any effect on you. But just something to keep in your head. All right, that ought to do it for me. Thank you. Oh, I can't forget the bingo every Wednesday night at Joppa.
Lauren,
I don't mention that.
I'm here, my name's Lauren, I'm here from Councilman Penman's office. As usual, everyone is thorough, they go over everything. Samantha did a great job. She went over legislatively everything that I had here on my list. That first home buyers workshop, it is on the 10th at the McPhail Center in Bel Air from 5 to 9. And he also wanted me to remind everyone, but that flyer is going around too, about the Community Reinvestment and Repair Fund, the community input meeting that's easiest for, locally for you guys to go would be Wednesday the 4th at the Edgewood Library at 6. And the flyer, I believe, has a QR code on it, but you can also go online because they ask that you pre-register if you'd like to attend. And that's really all I have.
Okay. Anybody here from Andre's office? All right, and Rob, you're up.
All right, I've just got a couple of things. Ron, I think you missed one walk in a neighborhood you're gonna do, which is, I think, December the 14th. That's in Brookside. Is that right? Brookside Drive, you're doing a walk through there, just the same one as the Edgewater Village. For the
December 7th.
December 7th is Edgewater Village.
Right.
Are you doing one in Brookside on the 14th?
Not that I'm aware of.
Check on it. I think you might be.
Where'd that come from?
I heard that today, so I just thought
Okay.
we'd let that out there. We have contacted the Isaac Walton League to talk about the shoreline stabilization at West Shore. Haven't heard back from them, but we're working on that. All the things that you all bring up here in the meetings that I attend, I take back, and we go back and try to figure out how to accommodate what you've asked for, what you want. One of the other things was Harford Square cameras are on the way. They're coming. We're still working through a few more details, but we're under the gun to get rid of the money by April. So we are working to get this completed. BG&E's been involved, DPW's been involved, IT, everybody has been working on this finally to get to where it is. So we're working on the Harford Square camera project. DPW went and looked at Trimble Road and Garnet to talk about no parking signs, as everybody had requested. I got a notice back today that said that they will be coming within about a month or so.
Thanks.
So you're going to be getting that signage as you wanted. Concerns were raised about the crosswalks at the 3 schools on Willoughby Beach Road. DPW will be looking at that in the next few days or a couple of weeks. And summer camps, Parks and Recreation is considering some summer camps. You know, the problem, unfortunately, is we can do all the programs, and I've said it before, we can do all the programs in the world, but we need participation. The children need to get out, the youth need to get out, the parents, we're back to the parents, they need to get involved and make sure their youth, their children get into the programs that will keep them out of trouble. So I don't know how we stimulate that, but we're gonna be working to develop more programs, and that was why the all summer camp issue came up. The skate park at Cedar Drive there by Edgewood Elementary, we're still working through details on that with the Board of Education. And I know 755 has also looked to possibly increase the size of the basketball court that's there at Cunyon Field. For another activity that's coming up here on the 20th of December from 5 to 7 at the American Legion Post 17 on 755. They are having Santa's arriving between, 5 to 7 is the event. Santa arrives there by way of fire truck, and it's going to be geared to children in the neighborhood. They've had it in years past, and participation has not been the very best. So I thought I would bring that down here this evening. So if you know any children, families, or so forth, they're going to have an event there. And that Legion is trying to build a better connection to the community and the neighborhood. So it's the one right there on Edgewood Road. From 5 to 7 on the 20th of December.
Oh, okay, Santa coming.
Santa's coming. Santa's coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. All right, Adam, do you have anything for us?
Yeah. Hang on, sorry. Oh, okay, as always, I'm running Town Trivia over at Town Grill and Pub every Sunday at 6. The next time that we shouldn't have it is Super Bowl Sunday, so feel free to come out and play if you want to have some fun in our community. On December 18th at 7 at Joppatowne Christian Church's building at 725 Trumbull Road is a Blue Christmas service for those who are experiencing hardship, heartbreak, loss at the holidays. So if you know somebody who's maybe just not excited about singing Joy to the World at a Christmas service, that's going to be on December 18th at 7 p.m. That's a Wednesday night. The homeless shelter is starting on January 3rd, so we will go from our 32 emergency shelter beds to at least 62. Hopefully we can push that a little bit more. The rotating shelter can take, right now, we're at a capacity of 30. We're trying to push it. We'll see. Although last year we didn't have full capacity for most of it, so we'll see what happens. The shelter starts January 3rd. That's going to be at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. There are also other churches in this area, Presbyterian United Methodist Church and Cross Point Community Church and Zion Temple Church, which is near Aldi, are all running weeks. Zion Temple Church's week is actually at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. We're going to give the keys over to them, and they're going to run the shelter because their building is not suitable for running the shelter. We also have 4 weeks at the end in March that they are not booked right now. And if you know a church that is willing to help, we would love. Doesn't have to be a church. If you got a big building that you can run something, great. If the community wants to do it, that's great. And if you need a spot, we can talk about using the Joppatowne Christian Church building. We're trying to get people housed. We'll figure out the other stuff later. On Friday, January 24th, there's going to be a blood drive at Joppatowne High School. On Monday, January 27th, there's going to be a class at the Joppatowne Christian Church building. APG FCU is coming out to teach a class called Budgeting for the New Year. So I will have better information on that next time with sign-ups and stuff like that, but that's just heads up. Monday, January 27th from 5:30 to 7 is that one. Any questions for me? Okay, cool.
Can I piggyback, Adam, on the shelter thing, just as a reminder
Sure.
to everybody? And if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but transportation for the clients is covered at this point for the van.
Okay, well, I think we're doing buses.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so transportation for the shelter is going to be via the Harford County Link Transit. And what we're going to do is instead of having one van to take them from one location to one location and back, we're actually going to be paying for bus passes for everybody in the shelter so that they can get to appointments or jobs or whatever using the Harford County Transit line. So we're going to be working on that. So transportation's covered. What else?
Insurance is covered, right? As far as, you know.
Oh. Sure. Okay. Insurance is covered.
Basically, it's easy to just plug in. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's so easy to plug in.
Yeah. All we need for hosting is a spot, essentially. The places. This is what I tell churches, but it doesn't have to be a church. Our goal, if you're hosting, is keep guests warm, keep guests fed, keep guests safe, and help guests grow. If you can do those 4 things, then we're already on the way. So if you want to volunteer at a church and see it, it's going to be in Joppatowne from January 3rd to the 13th, February 3rd to the 10th. It's also going to be in Edgewood and all kinds of places. So, just feel free to stop on by. The people are not scary. It is not a problem. We're going to have a community engagement representative at each place. At every night, there's going to be somebody who's there who has followed the guests around the shelter. They know the guests. They're going to be they're trained in de-escalation practices. So all of that is all set. So we really need help. Just people, food, and buildings. And again, if you want to use our building, we can make that work too. So really, just people and food. That's what we need.
And we'll be pushing that out on social media this week.
And for what it's worth, if you would like to have a place to spend the day to watch the big football game, which we're not allowed to call the Super Bowl, if you don't want to watch the Super Bowl, but an equally important football game that's happening the same day at the same time, feel free to come down to the JCC building. We're having a big Super Bowl party, and my goal for that is so that the people in the shelter don't feel like they're in a shelter, but they feel like they're at a raucous Super Bowl party. So come on down. Okay, that's all I'm doing.
Jansen?
Just one for you, Rob. Kevin Greenwell with the Human Relations Commission informed me that MedStar Health was looking to establish an urgent care somewhere in the Edgewood area. And the point of contact is same lady that you mentioned, Melinda from Lazos. Yeah, so she provided that information to Kevin. And if you could read it, I tried to send you his email, forward an email to you, but for some reason it didn't go through. I'll try it again.
Mars building's empty.
Well, so I'll just give it to Rob and he'll figure it out.
Thank you.
Right. That's all I have.
All right, just real quick, Adam, will you see if John Peters will do?
I have an email into him. I'm waiting to hear back.
All right, so what we're trying to do is Adam is trying to get John Peters, he represents the Cordish folks, to come to next month's meeting. And then another speaker who would like to come and speak to us, who spoke at one of my meetings last week, and she's really great, is the new state's attorney, Allison Healy. She really, I will tell you, this is somebody who, she really does convictions and prosecutions, and she does put them away. And she's a pretty good speaker, and she's done a lot of Harford County. She'd like to come and speak to our meeting too. So we get John Peters in January. We'll have Allison Healy in February. So we're moving along. Other than that, I just want to wish everybody a very safe and happy holiday season, and stay safe, stay happy, and a wonderful New Year. Hope 2025 is great for everybody.
Yes. I know she gave dates and stuff on the 14th, but they're having the Joppatowne Winter Festival.
What's at Mariners Point? But they didn't. But it's Mariners Point Park, right?
Yep.
There's a
From 2 to 8 p.m.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
will let
they're doing
everybody
hay
know
rides and
December
everything.
14th is my birthday, and you guys are doing all these celebrations to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Christian O'Connor, just have a great holiday and safe holiday.
If I didn't need to leave you out, do you have anything that you want to?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we did a site visit to Mariner Point Park, and we're good to schedule our spring music at the point. So look for that information, and we welcome area volunteers to help us with that. and,
volunteer.
and of course to attend, because it's a free event.
If you haven't been to the music at the Point at Edgewood, it was wonderful, it really was.
So our plan is to involve, Joppatowne High School. I just cleared all the dates with the county and so, and got the name of the Parks and Rec specialist, so I'll be moving forward with that.
Anybody else before we adjourn? And my God, it's only
I
10.
didn't get to finish.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry.
we are on track to plant 74 trees in
Wow.
the Edgewood area. They include churches, open space, schools, and then our community garden at Post 17, same place where you'll hopefully attend some of their holiday events for kids. And that groundbreaking to start the garden should be any day now. As soon as the money comes through that we can order, it takes about a week or two.
Okay.
And then in spring, we will have the official unveiling and planting and dedication of the garden. So,
That'd be awesome.
and we also just learned that Presbyterian Church, where you get the pit beef, will be the site of our second community garden.
Oh, nice.
Look for that information to come out.
Okay, and like I say, if you email any of that to me and Lori will get it out to everybody in the community.
Yeah, once I get the actual date, I'll send
That's
it
fine.
out.
Carmen, do you have something else?
Yeah, we're looking to work with, the local HOA directors. To my knowledge, unless someone else is aware of, if there's some type of, homeowner association, Harford County chapter list or grouping, someone can share. Otherwise, we're looking to get the board of directors together so that we can kind of share common issues and maybe come up with some common solutions that we can kind of propose together and or join together to kind of just work together on some things. Some of these issues we have are HOA issues and not necessarily, you know, and some are just general residential things, but we're looking to kind of gather together those in the county so that we can kind of learn from each other and also look at some solutioning and maybe even partnering on things. So
The Southern County Task Force, they're trying to compile a list. Who's the young man who works at the,
Jonathan?
Jonathan, yeah. He sent out various notes to like different people. I live in Woodbridge. I can't get anyone from our HOA board to respond.
okay, if you have a name or number of one of the board members,
No,
then
we have to go through the
the management company, yeah, and so those are some like issues that we have, but I know we'll be at the stakeholders meeting on the 10th with Southern Precinct, so we'll mention it there too, but if you have, I can talk to you after the meeting, I don't want to belabor this.
No, you're fine.
Oh,
Okay. No, I think we have a budget meeting beginning of January, so I'll be on that call.
okay,
So,
but now you can share our information and we're looking to get folks together.
Cause it's a shame when you're talking about a poll, we have a nice poll in Woodbridge and hardly anybody uses it.
I've heard.
And it's like 50% of our HOA dues and it's not being used.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I work with a group called Revive Us, you probably heard me talk about them before. We served 300 meals the day before Thanksgiving, both in Aberdeen, now they've moved to Edgewood. So if you see groups in a parking lot, there's people coming out to get food, that's who they are. If anyone's ever interested, you can go to Revive Us Ministries, just Google them. And we go out on Wednesdays, we go out on Saturdays. It's really a great partnership with Wegmans and Sprouts. They donate, Wawa donates a lot of food. We're able to take it to people that live in tents, live in their car. They may not have food stamps. And we're working on getting some advocacy as well for people that maybe they don't know how to fill a form out or they need help getting their food stamps. But if you want to help with the shelter, it's a great way to come and meet these people. Like Emma said, they're not scary. A lot of them are just people that are down on their luck. They feel forgotten, and it's nice to be able to have smiling faces that care about them. So if anybody's interested, it's open to literally anybody that wants to volunteer.
Anybody else? In that case, our meeting is adjourned, and it is just 8:16, folks.
Wow.
Exactly, oh my God.
I did look into so you can have the somebody from the shelter.
And I was happy.
Okay, thank you. It's going into my pocket, but it's